Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Appeals this June 11th, 2025. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This June 11th meeting of the Board of Appeals, I'm John Catino. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on this agenda are present and can hear me. Mr. Masterson.
Here.
Burton.
Here.
Damasio. A little microphone, Mike. Okay, in the meantime, Michael Riley.
Here.
And we have Dan. Dan's not here. Okay, and Mike Damasio, you're here, correct?
Here. Yeah,
Beautiful.
for some reason I couldn't unmute at first.
Okay. Yes, I think Adina might be having a finger on your button, maybe. Be quiet. Okay. All right, so right now we've got
five.
Riley, Damasio, Burton. Is Arnold here? No. Mike Heaton's in Montana. He's not coming. Dan Hunt's not here. And Sean is not here either. Oh, yeah, Sean, there you are. Sean
Masterson's here, yeah?
Beautiful. Okay, staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Adina?
Here.
And Mr. Savard. I thought I saw you. Oh, yeah, there's Mike Savard. Okay.
Here. Hi, John.
Savard. Okay, how you doing? All right, and on our agenda for today, let me just grab it off. We have the. Are we doing? Do we have the continuation? Dina, do we have the continuation of Chamberlain tonight?
No.
No,
Okay.
we have the new one for 27 Ash Street and the continuation of 12 North Mill.
All right, 12 North Mill. That was from before. Oh, okay, good. Then let's open with 12 North Mill. Public hearing. Let me just have a copy.
It's not right. It's not sure.
The Hopkinton Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, May 14, 2025 at 7 p.m. to hear all persons interested in the petition for a variance filed by Wall Street Development Corp., P.O. Box 272, Westwood, Mass. The petitioner seeks relief from the zoning bylaws for construction of a new single-family home at 12 North Mill Street, Hopkinton, Mass. That does not meet the minimum front setback. The property is shown on Assessors Map R19, Block 23, Lot E. The hearing will be held remotely using the Zoom. Oh, shoot. All right, I'm going to finish reading this one, and then I'll continue opening the other one. Zoom meeting service. For additional information, please email zba@hopkinma.gov, call the Department of Land Use Planning and Permitting at 508-9745, or check the online meeting calendar and agenda for this meeting at hopkinma.gov. This legal notice is also posted in the Massachusetts Newspaper Public Association MNPA website at masspublicnotices.org. John Catino, Chair and Clerk, regarding 25016. As if just a few more sentences just to continue opening the meeting. This open meeting of the Board of Appeals is being conducted remotely. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording and on HCAM. Thank you, HCAM, for carrying us once more. Accordingly, all supporting materials have been provided to members of this body and available on the town's website via the web meeting calendar, unless otherwise noted. Each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted on a roll call vote. Now we will go back to 12 North Mill Street. Who is here to speak on 12 North Mill Street?
Mr. Chairman, Lou Petrosi for Wall Street Development Corp.
Welcome.
Thank you. I apologize for having to continue at the last meeting, but all these boards seem to meet on the same night.
It happens to me too.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Well, let me just, if it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman, I'll just go through a brief summary of the property and what we're asking for, and see if the board has any questions or needs any additional information. This is a lot that's approximately 1.8 acres. It was created back in 1982. Wall Street acquired the property in 1996, I believe. And the uniqueness to this property is that it complies with all the zoning dimensional requirements for lot area and frontage. But through the middle of the property in a diagonal direction is a intermittent stream and a BV bordering vegetated wetland on either side. And since the lot was created, the Conservation Commission has adopted some stringent setback requirements to preclude certain types of activities within 50 feet or 100 feet of the edge of the wetland area. We did do an analysis recently that allows us to not access the rear portion of the property where we could build as of right without any variance, but to attempt to mitigate or minimize any impacts to the wetland areas. We have the obligation to seek out other permits that may alleviate that. And one of those permits allows us to build on the front portion of the property. However, we cannot meet the minimum setback requirement, which is 60 feet in this zoning district. What we're proposing is to set back 30 feet from the existing right-of-way of North Mill Street, and this will allow us to minimize the impacts to the resource areas of the Conservation Commission. And I'm not even, I'm not guaranteed that even with that variance that the Conservation Commission will approve it, but we have to put our best foot forward and try to address those concerns as best we can. But other than that, I was going to call you Your Honor. Other than that, I mean, the hardship is clear. The soil conditions, the topography, I don't think there's any kind of adverse impacts to the neighborhood since there's all single-family homes in the area. And so we think that we're meet the criteria for a variance under these circumstances.
I think it's interesting because Frank Lloyd Wright years ago built a house right over a stream in Pennsylvania, and it's falling water. It's one of the most famous homes, single family homes out there.
Yeah.
And now we have to just avoid water at all costs. But anyway,
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions for Lou? And Mike, if you, Mr. Riley, if you're talking, you're muted.
Do you have anything to put up on the screen so we can see it?
I don't, unfortunately, I don't have the skill level to do sharing, but I did submit with the application. I don't know if Adina can access. We did provide a plan that showed complete compliance with the zoning bylaws, and we then provided a second plan that showed the request for variance and where the house would be located with the variance being shown. But essentially, with a driveway that will cross the intermittent stream and the wetland area, we can locate a house and a septic system on the rear portion of the lot in compliance with all the zoning regulations. But again, that requires a significant more effort, and it's significantly more costly to do that. And we're looking at, as I said, minimizing impacts, reducing costs, and not disrupting the property in that kind of a fashion.
Okay. Yeah, well, we all have our stuff. Oh, wait a minute, let's see, who's in on this one? There's me,
I have a
Mike,
question,
Mike,
Mr. Chairman.
yeah, one second, I'm saying Jim and Arnold, okay. Well, for 1 second, before you go, Mr. Savard, yes. Mike,
Adina, can you read to see who was at the first meeting? Because this is a continuance.
But there was no testimony at the first one.
Okay,
It was
all
a
right.
So it can
Okay.
be
I didn't know.
the 5 full members.
Okay.
Okay, so in that case, it's Mike, Michael, me, Arnold, and Jim. And Ms. Sean, sorry you're out on this one. Yeah, so Mr. Savard, do you have any input on this one?
Mr. Chairman, I was absent at the last meeting, so I'm not super aware of this particular case. But from what I'm hearing, he has the ability to build inside the setbacks in the rear portion of the lot. Is that true?
That would be correct.
And what's the setback on intermittent stream? The buffer
Well,
zone?
they have various no build and no disturb zones, which are, I think, 25 and 50 feet of no disturb. And when you're constructing a roadway or a driveway, even though it's what would be considered what's called a limited project, again, the obligation for us as the developers is to minimize or mitigate as best we can and seek permits that may make that possible. So this is one of the avenues that we're essentially required to do. I think I was given a case where the board had recently granted a variance for a similar situation for Toll Brothers on a lot. And they also got a variance for a setback of 30 feet.
So basically what you're saying is that even after we pass it, you're still gonna have to Concom it.
Sure, because they have jurisdiction over 100 feet from the bordering vegetated wetland. So this will get us out of the 50, but it'd still keep us within 100. So they'd still have jurisdiction over the balance of the property, which would take care of the rest of the lot where we're proposing the house. So they will have the ability to condition it, the construction and the disturbance, even if you grant the variance.
So how far back is your upland beyond the wetland?
Well, I think, again, we're keeping 50, and it's kind of like a diagonal type of wetland that runs in a diagonal, kind of splits the lot into two pie-shaped areas. So on one side, it's a little bit deeper than the other, but I'd say we're 30, 20, we're about 60 feet from the BVW. Because it does give us, with a 30-foot setback and a nominal house that's about 30 feet deep, that gives us enough, for a reasonable backyard in today's standards of maybe 30 feet or 35 feet to the wetland.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so Arnold, you're up now. Arnold, you had a question, I cut you off. You go into Mike Savard. Okay. Mr. Riley, Mr. Marcio, anything?
I kind of would like to see it. What's the size of the house being put on?
It's a modest house, like a two-car attached garage, about 38 feet wide with a garage, 24-foot garage, so roughly around 62 feet wide, 65 feet wide, and depth of about 28 to 30 feet.
I'm bringing it up. Screen.
No,
I'm digging into my old emails to see if I could see it, because on my phone, I
that's what I'm
can't go
doing right
back
now, too.
that far.
Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to come back with someone who has capability of screen sharing if that helps.
Well, we may be able to, I just want to see it.
That's what I was gonna ask. If Adina maybe could put it up.
I don't have the file. You
No.
could, screen sharing is available, but I was out of the office, out sick today, so
Yeah.
I don't have anything with me.
Okay.
I apologize, I'm not able to screen share because I haven't learned how to do it.
And then back up.
Yeah, I've got all the drawings in front of me. That's it, just the letter correspondence.
I cannot find it.
Yeah, it came out,
Yeah, it was an email from Kobe.
Yeah, I'm looking under her stuff. For whatever reason, it's not populating in my email.
yeah, it's a,
Mike, look at
Yeah,
the
it came
email
from-
from Adina on June 4.
no, it's just, thank you. And actually, we also got it on,
It should be in the calendar also,
Okay.
when the web meeting calendar, or how you guys see all the attachments on the town's webpage.
yeah, and I originally got it, way back in like April 11th. Yeah, actually, you know something? I'm gonna send it to you right now. Michael.
Okay.
If you have it up on your screen, you should be able to share it.
Oh, I should, but then I can't see you guys. Okay, but, that's
April
good.
11th. I got it.
All right, can you share yours, Michael?
Hold on. 12 North. Let me see if this is, no, that's not it.
All right, I got the,
Are you just looking for the plot plan?
I just want to see what it looks like on the lot.
Here,
okay. All right. Okay, I've got it here, Gina, if you want to, I'll screen share.
I can share it
Oh, you can? Thanks, Mike.
as long as I get permission.
I'm sure she'll let you.
You should have it.
Easy
It
going.
says that sharing is,
Um,
let me see, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Did that work?
So, Mr. Chairman, it's Exhibit 8 and 9 of my submittal. of
There it
the
is. Mike's got it. Mike's got it.
Okay.
No, there it is.
So this is the proposal for with the variance. The house, as you can see, is set back from North Mill Street, and we will be adding force main to the septic system in the rear of the lot. There is a possibility of a septic system in the front of the along North Mill Street, but that's a regulatory hurdle that we have to also ask a variance for. But this will be permittable with the septic system in the rear of the lot and the house in the front of it. If you look at the one that's just prior to this one, that will show you the lot, the house in the back of the lot.
Yeah.
That's the abutters. So maybe it's the other way around. Go up.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
That's a thing of shows the house, and it's a typical
Yeah.
colonial house that's commonly built.
All over my neighborhood.
So what's the square footage?
Not sure, probably about 2,800, 2,600 square feet.
Okay. Hey, continue to still have to go through Concom. Oof.
Yep.
You know, the way I look at frontage is you're really not really pissing too many neighbors off usually.
So I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
So this is for a variance, is that
Mhm.
correct?
yes.
And the justification for the variance is because of this stream that runs through the property? Intermittent stream?
Primarily the topography and the existing soil conditions, which would fall under that category.
And the stream runs, I was looking at the picture that was shown on the screen. It runs from side to side, basically.
Yeah, and a little bit of an angle. It bisects the lot, splits it into two upland areas.
And you could build it kind of more in the rear of the lot, but you say that would be a lot more expensive?
It would be substantially more expensive, but we're not really, the primary obstacle would be the Conservation Commission rules and regulations.
If you build it, if you try to do it in the rear of the lot, it would be, you couldn't do it within the buffer zone?
There are certain parts of the regulations that would make it extremely difficult. And as I mentioned, the commission would likely ask us to seek to minimize the impacts. And this is a step in advance of them asking for it. I've been before them many times over the last 30 years. So pretty familiar with how they assess these kinds of what they call notice of intents. So we currently have an open hearing with them now, and we've continued it pending the outcome of the zoning board's decision regarding the variance.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mike.
So it appears to me, from an environmental standpoint, that the house would be better fit in the front. It wouldn't be in a pocket of surrounding wetlands. But from a zoning standpoint, he could meet his setbacks in the upland in the back. So that's my thoughts on it.
It is a trade-off between zoning and environmental considerations. Definitely is a trade-off.
And the way I look at it, like I said, the front setbacks, because my house is only about 50 feet back from the street also. So, it's, okay. Any other questions before I go to the public?
Yeah, I have one question, John, if I may.
Yes, sure.
It appears from 210-152 that it meets all the criteria under subsection A, that it would be a substantial hardship based on I think it was an additional $120,000 for the construction of that bridge or driveway over the river. The only question that I would have would be whether there would be some type of detriment to the public good. And I think maybe that's if we open up to the public, that would be maybe answer my question.
Yeah, no. Let's see what any neighbors. Are there any abutters that would like to enter and sign in? Don't see any. So, Michael, you might have to ask. I mean, Sean, you might have to ask the question yourself.
This is Bruce Holmgren. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I am an abutter. I'm wondering if you folks had a chance to read a letter that was signed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 families, all of whom are abutters to the property. If it's on the docket, we wrote it back on May 6th. I thought perhaps you had a chance to read it. I can read it, or I could summarize it for you if you'd prefer.
Sure. Yes, yeah, if you could, yes, Bruce, please.
Which would you like, summarize or?
Well,
read?
is it, is it,
It's a
is it
one
very
pager.
long?
It's a one pager. Yes or no?
If you could summarize it, would be,
Okay, I will
thank
summarize
you,
it.
because we have a couple cases today.
Okay, well, we have been opposed to the construction of anything on this site, not just because of the partially effective stream there for whatever, intermittent, sorry. But that intermittent stream flows full a good deal of the time. What's not really expressed here yet is the fact that the site is approximately 50% wetlands, not counting any setbacks whatsoever. The properties in this neighborhood, this is a scenic road, all except the very oldest properties, houses, have complied with the 60-foot setback, and we believe there's no, there would be economic harm to the abutters, all of whom meet the objectives of the setbacks. And with this, a sizable house only 30 feet from the road, that would be distracting and would detract from the value of our homes. So we believe that's an economic disadvantage. We don't believe that there is any advantage to building this house here. I also wanted to point out, too, that, and I'll read this part, we wish to point out that similar variance setback requests for this 12 North Mill Street property have come before the ZBA for the same purpose of constructing a dwelling that was constrained by the presence of substantial wetlands and vernal pools. Both of those variance requests were unanimously denied by the ZBA. Nothing on this site has changed since those denials were written on July 29, 1986, and July 25, 1989. So this is old news. I wish to point out also that as far as the Conservation Commission is concerned, the last action before them was in 1996, and they issued a denied order of conditions. There are no current order of conditions for this property, which I thought was a prerequisite for even coming before the ZBA.
No, that would strictly be for the Conservation Commission.
I thought it was in your rules and regulations that one of the prerequisites was to have a order of conditions.
No, they can do them first or us first.
Okay, well, either way.
So that's why. So and that's why when I was looking at this that that they're looking for relief on the front of the house.
No, I understand.
Everything else is conservation. They're not asking for side setbacks. They're not asking for rear setbacks. They're only looking for front setback due to the topography of the land.
Well, the point is that this has come before now, before the ZBA 3 times. The first 2 times it was unanimously denied for the reasons that I tried to explain here tonight. I know I have one other abutter who is here tonight. Others, for some reason, are not able to attend, but they are all the same position.
Thank you, Bruce. Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
Ellen Deutsch, 16 North Mill Street.
Yes.
I basically just want to agree with everything Bruce said. And my house was built in the early 80s. And at that point, we stuck by the 60-foot setback rule, as did houses that were built before and after. And it is a scenic road. It's very narrow. Generally, cars have to pull over if another car or a truck is passing by. And it really, there is no reason I believe, why you would want to build a house that close to the road. For economic reasons, for safety reasons, and for all the reasons that Bruce pointed out.
Thank you, Ellen. Mr. Savard.
Mr. Petruzzi, through the chair, could you tell me when this property, when the flags were delineated?
We delineated the wetlands approximately a year and a half ago. We went through a process with the conservation, what's called a abbreviated notice of resource delineation, and they issued a decision, and they certified that the wetland flags, as shown on the plan, are what they consider to be the wetlands in question.
So you filed an NRAD?
Yes, yes.
And that's a year and a half old, you said?
Yeah, I'd have to go back through it, but definitely we filed, and they, of course, we wouldn't go forward with any kind of site plan, site design without having that in our hands first, because we'd be designing in the blind at that point. Mr. Chairman, I will say, in response to Mr. Holmgren, he is correct that back in 1996 that Wall Street did appear before the Conservation Commission, but he's not correct in that although the commission denied it, the Department of Environmental Protection issued a superseding order granting us permission to build on the property. And since that time in 1996, there's a substantial amount of case law that has changed the, let's call it the legal aspects of a conservation commission to deny development within the resource area. So I'm hoping that we can avoid that kind of a situation, because it really is in the best interest of the property, and I don't think there's any the standard of substantial detriment that will occur as a result of the building of this house in this location that's requested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I just went with Mr. Masterson was talking about with that part of it. Anybody else on the board have any questions for?
Can I ask a quick question, John? I don't know if you could see that my hand's been raised for a while.
Oh, sure. Could you state who you are?
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for taking the time tonight. We appreciate it as a community on North Mill. I live at 7 North Mill. My name is Pat Gierschik. My husband is David Shea. We also wrote the committee, and we provided both information on our concerns with regards to the impact on the conservation land, as well as photos. We've had several issues in the past in flooding on the land and the backup on the stream based on where it is that directly impacts our property, because the stream runs through the front of our property, goes under Pine Tree Lane across towards 12 North Mill. And anytime there's been any kind of backup, at one point, someone had actually dammed the property up. We don't know who, but there were pictures to show how significant the increase in water was, almost all the way to our garage door. And if you were to see the views of our house, we have an incredibly long driveway, and yet the water came up over all of the stream areas onto the property and forward. We do also have a question on, based on where the property is built on the front, whether there would be any issues with septic if the septic fails, if there is a secondary spot that's not in the conservation land for addressing septic if it fails. So again, my husband has more information on it. We filed it for the committee to hear. But based on past history that we've been able to document, we do have strong concerns.
Thank you. A couple of those concerns that you have, one is Board of Health, and the other one is conservation. As I keep trying to tell everybody here, that our one thing that we're looking at is a front setback.
Okay.
And so those are the four corners that we have on this. And does it is the front setback. Everything else that you're talking about, the water and the stream and the um, septic, those are other departments that will have to weigh in on all this stuff.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Just so if we end up granting the 30 feet, well, they've got to squeeze everything in that area, and if they can't do it, they can't build it. And if Concom doesn't go, the Board of Health doesn't like where everything is, and Concom and the Board of Health don't like that part, you don't get it either. So we just have to stay focused on just what we can deal with here at the Board of Appeals.
Understood. Thank you.
What they ask us to deal with. Thank you. Mike Riley, you've been nodding your head. You look like you're holding back something.
No, I agree with you, John. Our job is to, and how do we look at these things in the past, and if the wetlands are a concern, obviously, but that's where we have conservation to oversee this, and with the septic system, we have the Board of Health. I don't want to disrespect the neighbors, but if I'm looking at this at a setback issue, which is what we're asked to do, not the water issue, we're asked as a board, if this is a setback issue, and the reason he's asking for this relief is because there's no better place he can put this, and that's what we make decisions on. It has to reach a certain criteria. In our interest, and I think Mr. Masterson summed it up, but what's in the public good? And that's where he talked about the neighbors. I don't necessarily think that's the only way to define public good, whether neighbors are for something or against something, but it's certainly a way to measure at least part of it. So I look at it as, if this was not a water issue, how do we look at these things as a board to grant relief for somebody to be able to build a house? And so I just want to back what John was saying. Him and I are often on the same path, and then this one we agree 100%.
The other thing to Mr. Riley's talked about public good, I was the Board of Selectmen for many, many years, and when we can actually have another house come online to help out with our taxes, it's also a good thing. To fill in vacant land sometimes and improve it, that's also, it might be a good thing. So there are so many other things other than, we've always said, many times we've had neighbors come out and said, but that land has been empty ever since we moved in, and we like hiking on it. We like my kids play on it, and we really don't want a house built on it. Then I always say to people, then see if you can buy it. And keep it empty, and a lot of people, we have some unusual ones here. We had one several years ago where a woman didn't want a property owner to cut trees down on his side of the fence because it gave her a shade, and wanted us to stop it, but I should buy the tree. But anyway, I'm digressing. Anybody else have any questions for Lou or anybody else? Do you want to, and if there's nothing else, should we entertain to close the public hearing?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Damasio?
Yes.
Mr. Burton?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Okay, so we're closed. All right. So, does anybody else have anything else you want to ask Lou at this time? Does anybody want to look at any more drawings? Does anybody want to make any kind of a motion?
Well, yeah, I just wanted, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
wanted to give some thoughts about this. Variances are an exception. I don't to comply with the law, we shouldn't give them unless there's really a valid reason for it. But I agree that it seems like there's some real concerns about really conservation issues and Board of Health issues here, which are unrelated to the zoning issue. And it does seem like because of the intermittent stream, the soil conditions, and I suppose the substantial added expense for building in the rear of the lot, which I'm not sure that it can be done anyway, that it fits the parameters of where we could justify granting a variance from this front setback. So that's.
Yeah, I think that just saying, Arnold, just saying sort of what we are, as far as what we do, what we can do here, and Mr. Masterson summed it up with the numbers and everything else. That whatever we do, there's some big butt hurdles that they still have to go through with Board of Health and with Concom. I was glad to see the updated wetland drawings that Mr. Savard asked for, because things change big time. After 100-year floods and everything else, the water that we've been having the last few years, the water we've been having this year. My lawn looks great, though. I got to say that lawn looks beautiful. I know. So so that being said,
John, did you get the motions that John?
Yes, I have that. Now that's what I wanted to read. I just want to read the facts part of it, if I may. I move that the Board of Appeal accept the following facts as they relate to the proposed development of 12 North Mill Street. The existing lot is bisected by wetland resource areas, including the intermittent stream bordering the vegetated wetlands, BVW. The existing lot is located in the Agricultural Aid District and is conforming to the lot area and frontage requirements of that district. The applicant has requested a variance or change requirement for the minimum setback from the street line in order to locate the dwelling unit 30 feet from the street line, a reduction of 30 feet or 50% of the requirement within the A district. So I just want to get those read in as written by Mr. Gelchik. Let's see.
So you have to vote on that, and then you can move to the next.
Yes. So can I have a motion and a second to? Well, I'll make the motion of reading those facts. I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Let's see. So this is the five. Mr. Damasio.
Yes.
Mr. Cohen.
Yes.
Mr. Burton.
Yes.
Mr. Riley.
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Okay, so we're accepting the facts as presented to us as drafted by Mr. Geltich. Then just to move this along, I move that the Board of Appeals find the following as it relates to the proposed development of 12 North Mill Street. That owing to the circumstances relating to the soil conditions, shape, and topography of the land structures, but not affecting the generally zoning of the district which is located, a little enforcement of the provisions of the bylaw would involve substantial hardship, financial or otherwise. In this circumstance, a little enforcement of the setback requirement would require the applicant to undertake additional permitting, construction, and wetland replication, which the board determines to be a hardship that is unique to this lot. That desirable relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good, and that the desirable relief may be granted without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of the ordinance of the bylaw. And those are the findings. And do I have to, Adina, do Do
You can add read the rest of
Okay,
the.
great.
Yeah.
I move that the board grant the variance to reduce the setback from the street line from 60 feet to 30 feet for 12 North Mill Street.
Second.
There we got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, I have a question about it being in keeping with the neighborhood. You know, I agree with the abutters that North Mill Street is a small, narrow street, and most of the homes are set back as required by the bylaws. And this is substantially different. And I'm not sure that it is in keeping with the neighborhood. You know, to have something that half the setback distance from the street that than other houses on the street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
I guess my question is, was this a development, or did the individual houses get put up separately?
I can answer that question if permitted.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, the closed public hearing. We can't,
Yeah, we have a closed. The hearing's closed.
Yeah, we can't. So
I really appreciate it, but we can't take testimony.
So my concern, Michael, is that if it's individual houses and that was the setback at the time, that somebody then had a right, if they had a situation where they couldn't meet the setbacks, to come in front of us and we could grant a variance. Because every lot is different. You know, every lot, every piece of land is unique. So the board may or may not have allowed it. I have great concerns with the water, but I'm putting my trust into conservation. We have a tough conservation board, and they just don't. Conservation board. And they're going to make sure that it's done right, and it shouldn't have an impact on the neighbors. But as far as the setback to the feet goes, it's a unique lot, and to me, this fits into what this approval process is about. It is unique topography, and there is a hardship, and that's the reason he's before us. If it was a development and it's easily, hey, it's easy to put a house and meet the setbacks when you just got a wide variety of land, or if they're individual, if they needed to, they could have come in front of the board. So I hear what you're saying, but I think it is not necessarily in with the neighborhood, but that neighborhood also has the ability not to need setbacks on their lot and aren't going to deal with a water issue like this guy's going to deal with. That's my thought.
I have no issue with the water issue because that's Conservation Commission's issue. It's the fact that this is half the distance to the street than other houses on Mill Street. And, I don't see that it's in keeping with the neighborhood.
Well, North Mill Street really isn't really a neighborhood either, though. It's a street.
Sure, it's a neighborhood.
Well, the distance is. Well, no, I'm just talking about. When we look at some of the built up neighborhoods where they develop and they put 40 houses in, and they're like, to Mike's point, they're all somewhat cookie cutter, and they all go in, and they're all anywhere from 3,000 to 4,500 square. I'm just talking about my neighborhood, and every house is on that same size lot. They're all flat. They're all, or the Toll Brothers ones where they come through and they clear cut and all that stuff. I know, I'm going down a rabbit hole.
Well, Michael, the desired relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good. So in keeping with the neighborhood standards, to me, is not detrimental to the public good. I think that's a different standard. And the other one was without substantially degrading from the intent and purpose of the I think this is exactly why this variance law was written. So it doesn't take away from why it's written. But I don't, and John could probably answer this better than I do. If it was going to substantially decrease the value of the other homes by being 30 feet, you're still on an acre, 1.8 acres. So I don't know, John, you can tell me whether, because I'm interested in Michael's argument that it's not, because the standard it's not conformity. It's detrimental to the public good. That's a much higher standard to me than nonconformity.
Well, what I looked at when I heard the comments from the Gershik family, that at one time when nobody was controlling that lot, that it was dammed up and places flooded and everything else. You know, the way I look at the part of the public good is that somebody's actually going to be caring for this. They're going to be caring for that stream. They're going to be caring to make sure that flooding doesn't happen. And so there's positive and negative parts. Or maybe Ellen, I forgot whose property was flooded. Excuse me if I got it wrong.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman,
yes.
The question is does the bylaw have any specific language about as one of the criteria being that it's consistent with the neighborhood?
No, it says it's substantially. Let's see. Without substantial detriment. You know, and this is the other thing we have to talk about. What's substantial? You know, it's
yeah, because
you know,
I know there's some towns in their bylaws, you know, I've seen it, where they do have language about being something like being fitting in with the neighborhood or being consistent. But I think substantial detriment is a different concept. That it harms the neighborhood, not that it just kind of conforms with it. You know, it's not that.
So ours is the way that John wrote it up for us.
Yeah.
Is without substantial detriment to the public good, and that the relief without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of the ordinance of the bylaw. You know, and that's one of the things that you know. I run into this all the time downtown. Downtown, every lot is supposed to be 15,000 square feet, but I think it's 82 or 83% of the lots are somewhere around 7,000 square feet or 8,000 square feet. And so, you know, we can have all the side setbacks, front setbacks, and everything else there for these people, but every single person's got to come to the Board of Appeal. And there's no cohesiveness there at all. But anyway, anybody have anything else? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. How do you vote, Jim?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Damasio?
No.
And I'll vote in the affirmative. So we have a 4-1 on this one. And does Adina, does it have to be unanimous? Or is
No.
it four
No,
carries?
just 4.
No, because you got 5.
No,
Right.
but I think sometimes you have to have 4.
Yeah, no.
Right. For the variance, I thought we had to have 4. Okay. Lou,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's just a starting point, so I appreciate your efforts and your consideration.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks for visiting.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Next up on our agenda is 27 Ash Street.
Yep.
I'll read in 27 Ash. Wait a minute. I want to be able to do it fast. The Hopkinton Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, June 11, 2025 at 7 p.m. to hear all persons interested The application for a special permit and/or variance filed by Brian Gassett, 150 Clinton Street in Hopton, Mass. The applicant seeks relief from the zoning bylaws for a garage addition in a non-conforming dwelling at 27 Ash Street, Hopton, Mass. Assessors map U17, block 35, lot 0, that does not meet the minimum setback requirements. The property is owned by Gassett Building Incorporated, 150 Clinton Street, Hopton, Mass. The hearing will be held remotely using the Zoom meeting service. For additional information, please email cba@hopma.gov, call the Department of Land Use Planning and Permitting at 508-497-9745, or check the online meeting calendar agenda for this meeting at hopma.gov. This legal notice is also posted in Massachusetts Newspapers Public Association MNPA website at masspublicnotices.org. John Catino, Chair and Clerk, regarding 25019. Mr. Gassett, I saw that you were coming in. Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
Welcome. Tell us what you want to do.
Yeah, so I purchased, excuse me, I've been a little under the weather today. I purchased 27 Ash Street with the hopes of renovating the home. And part of that decision was to put a garage in the back. Right now, there's a garage that's off that property that has to be removed in order for Catherine Drive to go in. So the old house was going to need a garage. So I just put it out the back of the house, thinking be the best location so I can have a breezeway and just tie it right in with the old structure.
Brian, do you have any drawings or anything that you can screen share with us or anything?
I'm hoping Joe Marquardon has his. He should be on there.
Oh yeah, Joe's right there. Hey Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Is it possible to share?
Absolutely. Adina, could you let Joe show us what he's got?
We all see that?
Oh yeah.
So there is, just for orientation, there's Ash Street on the left-hand side of the page.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine Drive is here to the north. This is the existing dwelling, cross-hatched here, and this is the proposed addition. So it sits 21.9 from Ash Street and 20.6 from Catherine Drive. The RA zone has a corner lot. It needs 40 foot to Ash and 40 foot to Catherine Drive. And then that makes everything else a little tight.
So how so the house itself is already 21.9?
Correct, from Ash.
And it's
yes.
So it's already, yeah, so all right. And so it's already 20 feet or 18 feet in non-conformance on that side.
Yeah. This is the garage Brian mentioned a moment ago. That is coming down as it sits within the Catherine Drive right away. So this garage will replace that.
Okay. Mr. Riley, I saw you had your mouth open as he was talking.
No, I'm just trying to, I have a hard time. My computer's kind of freezing up, so I'm trying to get it on my phone. Can you say again where the new garage is going to go? I'm sorry.
Right here behind the home, if you're at Ash Street looking at the front door.
Yep.
East of the dwelling.
Yep, I see it. Okay.
The garage, and there's some access where there's a bulkhead in here, and a mudroom and some foyer, but this is the garage proper, and this is access.
It's tucked way back.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So the side setback is so you're really close on the side setback. 35 to 40 feet.
Correct.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Gassett or Joe?
John, you know these are two fronts.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. There's two fronts. Yeah, good point. Good point. I get that at my house too. I get two fronts. But they're both 40 feet anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Arnold.
yeah, is this for a special permit or a variance?
It is,
Special.
it's a special permit.
All right, and what kind of a relief do they want to get from the from zoning?
22, they're gonna need 18 and,
No, well, that's the pre-existing house, and that actually got all approved when Catherine Drive was approved back in the 80s.
oh, okay.
The relief I'm looking for is basically 4.5 feet to the new garage to meet the 40.
Okay,
So,
Chair?
so we do 5.
so that's it, 4 feet?
Yeah,
Does Catherine Drive go all the way up to Ash Street?
Correct, it will.
Yeah.
yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it's a paper road at this point, isn't it?
I see.
Excuse me, one second. Isn't part of the new structure within 26.7 feet of
Yes.
Catherine Drive?
Yes.
That's an egress.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
That's an existing egress. We're just gonna make it pretty and change it around. Right now, there's a bulkhead and a back porch already there.
Okay, Mr. Savard, yes.
Mr. Chair, based on what I'm looking at, it looks like the relief won't be for the front of the garage. It'll be more like the bump out of that breezeway. I did understand what Mr. Gass has said about the bulkhead. That is pre-existing and that is egress. But the corner,
Oh, yeah,
can't
that's true
screen
too.
share, but the corner of that breezeway looks like it's encroaching further than the
So,
garage.
yeah,
I
yeah, so I
think
see what you're saying,
that's the number that
26.7.
we could be looking at. No, I don't think it's that number either. I think that it's that little jog where the corner of the
Oh, it's,
garage
oh,
comes
so
in,
it's less.
the breezeway. I think
Yeah.
that's what we should be looking
So
at, that
right there.
dimension, but
That one
That's my
that's right there,
thoughts.
right where the arrow, yeah, right where that
Correct.
arrow is right now, yeah.
that's
Yeah,
correct.
so if that's, so if that drops back like another 2 feet,
Because the bulkhead's already there and it's an egress, so I don't think we should consider that.
okay, thank you.
I'm looking at the breezeway. I think that's where that missing number maybe Mr. Marconaut has. He could share
Yeah.
that with us.
Joe, is there any way you can measure that from with your system?
Yes, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Thanks. Good catch, Mike.
So John, when you read the motion that John Gelchick wrote up, you'll probably just have to change the feet when you read it.
Well, the facts still stay the same.
Right. Okay, and that he doesn't have the decision he doesn't
Oh,
have.
right, no, the one that number does change. He has a 35.5 in there.
Right.
And so that number changes. Thank you very much, Adina. I'm looking at 26.7. It's going to be like 30 point. Oh, let's see.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, appreciate your patience.
No, Ben, hey,
That distance from that corner right there,
yeah,
29.90 feet.
I said 30. I was pretty
Not
close.
so bad. Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna call it 30 for 29.9 something. I'm gonna, easier for math. So in actuality, we're looking, so 30 is this number here. And so they're looking for, so Mr. Gassett, you're looking for 10 feet.
11 feet.
I do 11, yeah.
Okay, 11 feet. Thank you. Mr. Demasio, you're right. All right. Okay, good. So we have the real, Mike, that was a really good catch. Thanks. Anybody else have any questions for Joe or Mr. Gassett? Okay, any members of the public have anything on this? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion to close? Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
Mike? Marcio?
Yes.
Michael Cohen? Arnold Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Riley? You can just wave if you want to, Mike. Oh, you're frozen. I think your voice will work though if you take it off of mute. All right, I'll vote in the affirmative. Then we got 4. We can take him as abstaining. I'll give him another minute.
You know, if he turns off his camera, his audio might work better.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah, did you hear what Mike said?
I
There
did.
you go. Excellent.
Yes.
Not the we do love looking at you, but maybe it might work faster.
Yeah.
So lake people don't have very good service down there, I guess, huh?
I don't know what's going on.
He just upgraded mine, and my pictures come out a lot better now. You put all new wires going all the way down my street. Okay. Oh yeah. So we get with the motions. The meetings. Oh yeah. So everybody's in. Okay. So the meeting is closed. Okay. So I'll read in the facts. I move that the Board of Appeals accept the following facts as they relate to the proposed development at 27 Ash Street. The existing lot is a corner lot abutting Ash Street and Catherine Drive. The existing structure and lot prior to the adoption of zoning in Hopkinton. The existing structure is a non-conforming zoning with respect to the setback from street line from both Ash Street and Catherine Drive. The proposed additions to the structure will not encroach further into the setbacks than the existing conditions. The proposed encroachment subject to the special permit include the addition to be located approximately 30 feet from the street line of Catherine Drive. The existing nonconformities on the subject site are setback from the street line, Ash Street. There's 22 feet, 40 required. Setback from the street line, it's 20.6 feet, 40 required. But it's not 20.6. Can we just say it was 29
11.
Or 11?
It would be what the relief we're granting.
Oh, yeah, right, but it's the opposite right here. So the being granted is the 11, but it's the setback from the street presently is 29 feet. Didn't we just do 29.9 is what he just told us? So I'm going to read in 29.9. 40 feet required, which will give the 11 feet afterward.
That's the existing you're supposed to be saying. there.
That's what I'm reading.
What's
So,
already existing, right?
right. And so the existing, yes, that's exactly. So could I have a, could I have a second on?
And then you have to
Yeah.
correct, because the existing is 20.6.
Setback from Ash Street is plus or minus 22 feet, 40 required. Oh, for you're talking about the existing house is 20.6. Okay, I get you. Back to 20.6, so that's exactly what Juan Belcher wrote. Okay, any more discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mr. Burton,
Yes.
Mr. Marcio,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes.
and I vote in the affirmative also. Okay, so we accept the facts. Findings. I move that the Board of Appeals find the following as it relates to proposed development of 27 Ash Street. The proposed additions to the existing structure will not substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming use of the neighborhood, Section 6 finding. All applicable criteria and standards set forth in Chapter 210 of the zoning bylaws have been satisfied. Granting of the special permit shall be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of Chapter 210 of the zoning bylaws. And the decision being, I move that the board approve the special permit under Section 210-128 for 27 Ash Street to allow for the alteration to an existing non-conforming dwelling where the proposed alterations will encroach upon one or more of the setbacks, but will not create a new non-conformity. And
Second.
right, but where do I put in the 11 feet here?
You can just say it right there with the granting.
Okay. And as well, we grant 11 feet.
Well, really, if it's the existing is 20.6, we're granting 20 feet of relief.
But that's the house. If we're
All we're doing is memorializing the fact that the house is
oh, okay. Thank
close to
you.
the
All right,
street.
then I'll go along with that. I'll go along with that. Then we stick right with what John wrote. Okay, yeah, because the proposed addition, we did memorialize the addition at 30 feet. Okay, I'll go along with that. Okay, thank you. So I just wanted something in there that because we are talking about the garage, and the number that we changed was 30 from 35.5 to 30.
Yep.
You would have to
Good.
do the granting of the feet if you were also issuing a special permit under 210-119, but because this is less non-conforming than
Yes.
the existing, you'd only need the Section 6 finding and the special permit under 128.
Thank you, Mr. Marcio, and thank you, Adina. Excellent. Okay. Then could I have a second, please?
Second.
As amended. Sorry, a second as amended.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Burton,
Yes.
Mr. Marcio,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes.
and I vote in the affirmative also. Okay. Mr. Macquidot, Mr. Gassett, you're all set.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much. I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for coming, you guys. All right. Do we have? I don't have any minutes in front of me. I apologize.
I didn't send them out.
Okay, good. Thank you, because I was wondering why I didn't have them. Okay, wasn't my fault. Because I looked back and they didn't see them. I just said, I hope I didn't miss it. All right. That being said, when's our next meeting and what do we have coming up?
In 2 weeks, we have the continuation for that Chamberlain Street one, and I think there's one more that will be on that night. I don't have. I can tell you it. That's the 25th. 39 Primrose Circle. Oh, that's an appeal of Mike Savard's letter.
Oh, that's the Vide guy, man.
I'm not sure if that got sent out
It's
to you
tough.
guys yet, but
Tough being a builder in town with a guy like him around. So,
so that's it. There's 2 for that meeting, and then we have one on July 9th.
which I will not be able to attend. I will be at Boy Scout camp.
Hey, no offense, but aren't you old? You Boy Scout? Hey, okay, whatever. You look young. All right, motion. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? Excellent. Thank you, Jim. All right, Mr. Masterson,
Yes.
Burton,
Yes.
Mr. Marcio,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes.
and I vote in the affirmative also. We are adjourned. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all your input today. Really, I totally appreciate it. Mike, thanks for catching that stuff. And Mr. Savard caught the other one, and really appreciate it. That's the way we're supposed to work. Again, thanks everybody. I'll see everybody in 2 weeks. Have a
Thank you,
great
John.
time. God
Adina,
bless. Okay.
Night.
Adina, one question.
Yeah.
Is 2023 the latest zoning bylaw book?
I think the new one is out. I will check tomorrow in the office and I can